Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back. This is the week 12 update, and I wanted to talk to you about sunflowers and beans. My purple blue-hilled beans, they are a pole bean. They are not doing as well this year as I would have liked, mostly because we didn't trim back the tree, so it's not getting as much light as it did last year. And last year was just a good harvest. It wasn't a great harvest. So I decided, since I have some sunflowers that are growing here, that I'm going to add a few blue-hilled seeds at the bottom of each sunflower. I've done this before, and I actually had planted the sunflowers and the beans at the same time, and they struggled a little bit at first, and once the sunflowers really got going, then the beans were fine. But the bottoms of the sunflower stems were a little crooked because of the way the beans were wrapping around them. These have already been growing for a couple of weeks, so they will be just fine. And the beans will actually wrap around them and go up. Eventually it'll be up so tall that I can't reach them. But since I'm planting them later in the season, it may not have a whole lot up that tall anyway. But behind this, I also do have some fencing here. I don't know how well you can see that, but there is some fencing between two poles at the end of this bed. And I can also direct the beans onto or off of the fencing. If you're careful, they can also break very easily. So you got to be careful if you're going to try and redirect beans. But it can be done. But if you don't have a trellis or a fence or something like that, but you want to grow pole beans, this is another idea. There is a traditional Three Sisters planting method that puts corn and beans and squash together, which I have not tried that myself, but the beans would climb up the corn plants. Well, they climb up the sunflowers instead, and the sunflowers are a little bit more sturdy than corn, but it looks really cool when it's all filled out too. The major drawback is until your beans are done growing, you can't pull down the sunflowers. But this is just a natural way if you don't want to add stakes or don't have them. Pole beans will climb just about anything. So this is one idea. Anything that is sturdy enough to handle the weight and being wrapped around would probably do for pole beans. They're pretty advantageous, and they will just wrap their whole stem around whatever they can grab onto. My pinto beans are currently wrapping around poles that used to be tomato stakes. And they are climbing up just fine. Those are 1x2s. And these are going to go up to sunflowers. I also like the contrast with the purple beans to the yellow flower and the green stem and leaves from both. It's a very nice contrast. As for the rest of the garden, these sunflowers are in the end of my sweet pepper bed, and I did not get any more sweet pepper seeds to germinate. The extra seeds that I didn't care about were just too old. So I decided to not waste the space, and I filled it with bush beans and some more zucchini. Not that I needed more zucchini, but that's okay. I only put 4 zucchini seeds in this bed. Hopefully they will all grow so they can help germinate each other, because they will flower completely after the other ones are done. But as for the bush beans, I put in some golden wax bean and tender green improved. I don't know how it's improved, but it was a cheap pack of seeds. We'll see. If I like it, I'll save some. but I put a whole packet in here. There's 54 total bush bean seeds planted in here and 6 total blahills. So my sweet pepper bed is definitely going to be more of a bean bed than sweet peppers. The onions are bulbing up nicely. The southern peas have pretty much all germinated. The watermelon is growing nicely. And the cherry tomatoes are getting big, starting to flower. The potatoes are starting to die back. The peas are continuing to die back, so it won't be long till we're digging these up and harvesting the potatoes. The runner beans, though, are filling out nicely. Zucchini and cucumber. I had actually put a couple Kajari melon seeds for this end of the trellis and never came up, but they're only 70 days to harvest, so I still have time. And the tomatoes are doing so well for the most part. Some are very different heights than others. The basil looks gorgeous. And the corn is nice and tall. The hot peppers, though, not so much. So thanks for coming along with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. May the Father bless you. Shalom.